Sorry, I'm sweating because I have my air conditioner turned off right now, but that's okay. I'm getting ready to go to the gym. I just took my vitamins. I took my protein. I just bought a 10-pound jug of protein in Bacalad. I'm very excited about it. This is whey protein isolate. Okay, that's actually 11 pounds. No, 10 pounds. Sorry. It has green tea and caffeine in it as well. It helps the protein absorb better. Isn't that awesome? Oh man, I hope you guys are having a good day out there, man. I was in San Francisco for a little while. Oh my God. Oh man, I go through a lot of American cities these days as a truck driver. But yeah, I haven't been to San Francisco Bay Area for a long time. So I'm always skeptical when I hear stuff on the news because I just assume it's exaggerated or fake. But wow, it is true, man. That city has really deteriorated. It's crazy, man. It's become like gangland in some ways, and everybody has this uniform, pissed off look on their face of like just utter contempt for life and stress, and they just don't have time for anything. And that's the way it is. Like living in a city, man. It's hard, you know. I mean, how does the mind deal with such things, right? What is that city, like 4 by 4 miles? And so you're stacked up against millions of people, and of course the Bay and California and most of America is really expensive to live, and not everybody's going to get a job, right? So they kick them to the streets, and I guess that's how we treat the homeless there. It's a weird, it's just a weird thing, man. I think even the homeless people here in like Philippines are treated better than in the Bay Area. At least here, it feels like they're just more part of a community, right? That's what I think. That's just my observation. I could be wrong. But anyway, welcome back to the channel, folks. Welcome back, and welcome to the Philippines. We're back here in my compound. I don't know if you guys have been watching the channel for a while, but it's kind of an echo in here. I built this little house here for like $4,000, and it's sustained me pretty well for a long time. But I'm working on another one, which is still under construction. Yeah, that's okay. Well, part of the roof isn't done. I gotta fix the roof. And it needs like a fence, okay? Because houses need like roofs and fences. Those are very important things for a house. Hello, little itchy boot. It says guapo ka. I don't know what that means. Thank you though. I think I know what guapo means. Yeah, I'm doing a video today on the Philippines education system for dual citizen kids and so forth, or really for like anybody, I guess, because I wasn't sure about raising my son in the Philippines as far as education was concerned, because I thought since we're in like a developing country, maybe the education wasn't as good, but it turns out it may even be better in some respects, based on the same curriculum too, mind you. So yeah, there's that. Anyway, I had some peanuts here. You guys see these peanuts? You ever get these out here? Do I speak Tagalog? No, I do not. I speak Ilongo? No, I don't. I don't speak Ilongo. Oh, that's a joke. I just got off. Who was doing a live stream? Oh, Eastern Dreamer was at a live stream. He's back in. He's somewhere in Northern California. He told me, but I'm not going to say where it is. Actually, I can't remember right now, but yeah. Yeah, they got a really good vitamin store too in Bacolod called Wise Choice Vitamins. It's really good, man. You can get really good quality vitamins. Cebu Bozeman says, Trucker, what is up, sir? Good to see you. Yeah, man. I got some, I'm always like trying new vitamins. So I got new from Nature Wise. This is hair, skin, and nails. So we got a lot of biotin, but it's got a lot of other stuff in it too. That it's almost like a multivitamin. It's kind of weird. You're in Lapu, right on, man. I got vitamin A, C, D3, E, B1, B2, niacin, vitamin B6, folate, B12, biotin, of course. Lots of biotin in this. Okay, biotin's that stuff that prevents your skin from drying and kind of lubricates your hair, in case anybody was wondering. I'm not selling this vitamin, I'm just saying this is what I'm taking right now. Yeah, but this thing's amazing, man. It's almost like a multivitamin in a way. It's got fish oil, argan oil, lots of stuff. Anyway, in case anybody cares to know. Yeah, so yeah, it's kind of a relief being here. I gotta say, man, it's like, oh, I did not enjoy that stay in San Francisco. I mean, I did. I had fun. Believe me, I always have fun. I find a way to have fun, but yeah, it's just, God, I couldn't imagine living in like these cities anymore. It's just, I guess it has a time and a place, right? I think at least at one point in your life, you should experience what it's like to be stacked up and living in a city. I bet New York City is the same way. But I gotta say, man, there wasn't a lot of happy faces there, man. It's like a lot of stress, dude. I mean, understandably. I just don't get it. I guess that's the thing where if you're really rich, you get to live in a tower, and so then you just, I guess you literally look down at the poor people all day. Is that what it is? I don't understand the appeal. Hmm. But anyway, welcome to the live stream, whoever's out there. Hope you're all having a good time today. Oh goodness. Yeah, I'm gonna be making. I have more time now to make videos and put a little bit more thought and effort into them. Because when I'm on the road trucking, man, I'll have, I'm working 10, 11-hour days, and then I gotta sleep and then go to exercise somehow, go to the gym. But now I can have a little more breathing room and maybe do a little more editing if I choose, and should be a lot of fun. I can't wait. All right, I'm done. No, I'm just joking. What is this? I'm gonna go to the gym actually. I got these sunglasses. I like these ones. It's surprisingly not as hot as I thought it was going to be for some reason because, we're kind of still in the summertime, I thought, or maybe we're not. Are we not in the summer? Anyway, yeah. It is hot though, but not as hot as I thought it would be. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay. All right. So anyway, who's out there? Is anybody watching? Is anybody here? Maybe I'm just talking to myself. That would be fun too. I'm good at doing that actually. If you can entertain yourself, that's a good quality to have, especially as a truck driver or something, because you do spend quite a bit of time alone. Oh man, I got moisturizer too. I can't stand traveling with these moisturizers because it's like these bust open in your luggage, and then you'll have like moisturizer and grease all over. So now I put it inside a plastic bag before I put it in the luggage. Isn't that genius? These are the little things that I picked up with on life that can actually help you too. All right. So put your moisturizer in a plastic bag before you put it in your luggage. Okay. All right. Okay. Oh look, we got collagen peptides too. You see the collagen peptides? The thing about this one is you got to take like 6 of these per day. It's kind of hard to take like 6. They're like big horse pills. Sorry. Let me button my shirt. C for collagen. You see the C? And I'm good. Well, the Bay is a sad place, folks, if you're a poor man. What can I say? It can certainly be. Oh, and check it out, creatine. All right. So a lot of people don't know this, but you don't just take creatine for muscle growth and the water thing, like, it puts like water in your muscles. Just 5 milligrams of creatine a day, okay? A small dosage is actually, they're showing it has a neurotropic effect. It's good for your brain, all right? So I don't take a lot of creatine. I just take like 5 milligram, like one scoop a day. I'm not like loading up on it. I got enough of the mass thing going on. I'm trying to kind of reduce the fattiness. Yeah, it's great, man. Man, I meant to buy some more multivitamins, man. This Garden of Life, this is supposed to be a good brand too. I looked this one up. I ordered this, but I'm almost out. So, gonna have to get some more of those. What else do I got? Whew. My goodness, it's hot. I am actually sitting here sweating. Do you guys see the sweat? Goodness gracious. I'm going to the gym, okay? And there's no air conditioning in the gym, so I also take, what do you call it? Electrolytes. I actually got an electrolyte supplement to take, while I'm in the Philippines, and I, load up on that. I drink over a gallon of water a day while I'm here. I do on the road too. I just have to, urinate a lot in the truck, and it's really not a pretty sight. You can do the math, how I do that. But anyway, yeah, especially here, I'm always loading up on water because just constant sweating, man. But thing about the sweat is you got to go all in. So if you spend all your time like in a tropical country trying not to sweat or trying not to be hot, it's just you're not going to have a fun time, right? So you kind of just go all in. You do the sweat thing, right? So you wear clothes where you're comfortable sweating in, and you just sort of, you just go all in. Otherwise, you're going to spend all your time trying not to be hot, and what's the point of that, right? That's what I said. Robert is here. Welcome. Thank you. Enrico, the cabbie, says hello from Australia. Australia. I still have not been to Australia. I would love to go to like New Zealand. I know those are like two different places, but I want to go to Australia as well. It's pretty close to the Philippines. I never looked up those flights. How cheap are the flights from, say, what's the name of that city? Sydney or something? Like Sydney to Manila? I wonder how much that would cost. It's actually a pretty good hub. Enrico says, we are far away from the U.S. Yes, that's true. Well, Australia is far away from the U.S., very far. But it's still considered a Western country. Is that correct? I believe it is. Almost about the same size, too, I think. I forget which one, in landmass, I forget which one's bigger, but there's a lot of different climates in Australia, I would imagine, too, right? You got, like, deserts and, beaches and the outbacks, and you got these old Aussie guys like with cowboy hats on, like shooting kangaroos. I mean, what goes on out there? I heard this trucker from Australia tell me a story where he said he'd watch this like double or triples truck just barreling down the highway, just taking out kangaroos like the way you would hit deer in the U.S. It's like boom, 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 boom. Like the kangaroos are flying, man. And they got really long necks, right? So the kangaroos are tall. Yeah, I like that story. BJ Can says, how much can you save without winter? Enrico says the flights are normally about 5 to 700 US. That's pretty good still. That's actually, considering how close it is, that's still more than I thought, but I guess it's not just all about distance, right? Yeah, big landmass in Australia, 5 to 7 time zones. It sounds about right. That sounds about right. Oh my goodness. What else do I got going on? Yeah, man, so I got I've been getting good flights lately from like SFO, San Francisco or Los Angeles, direct flights to Manila, okay? And the prices have been pretty good. I've been doing about, I think the past 2 trips, I paid like $840. But that's a direct flight, overnight. So you show up at the club lounge like 3 or 4 hours with United. You pay like $50. I get a free pass because I got the card. I got like a United whatever Explorer card. I got a credit card, whatever. But I don't use them. But it's just you get those little perks, right? So you go loiter at the club lounge for 3 or 4 hours. They got really good food. Okay, they got a bar if you're into like drinking, if you're a raging alcoholic or something. I don't drink a lot. I never really liked alcohol much. But anyway, so I stayed there. I loaded up on really good food and had a good time. And geez, really enjoying myself. And then you get on the flight at midnight, and then you just take a nap. Just go to sleep basically, and you wake up and you're in Manila pretty much. Or you can watch movies. They have like pretty good food on the plane as well, bottles of wine. I sat next to a Filipino OFW guy type of thing, and he was about 31 years old, and he was going back to the Philippines for the first time like in 18 years. So he hadn't been since he was about 12 or 13 years old, and I suspected that he didn't really want to go back before. But he worked as like a tour guide. So he would go on these like cruises, right? These like tour guide cruises. And yeah, I was telling him how, like some of the Filipinos I've met in America, like when they're in their 20s or 30s, like, the professional ones, the ones that are like accountants or, I don't know, have good jobs, whatever. Some of them, the ones that have been, working really hard and they're working in the matrix and all that, and they've had some success in the Western establishment. Some of them develop what I call sort of like this, self-loathing idea about their own people. Some of them, not many, which is rare, especially for Filipinos, right? They're typically more connected and loyal anywhere they are. But sometimes you do get these groups that are, I don't want to say Americanized, but the West and money and some success can have a profound effect on the way you view yourself and view your own people sometimes. And I was kind of telling him that, and he found it interesting, but I don't know, he kind of had an attitude. I can't explain it, because I told him how I was a trucker, and I stayed in my car for a long time years ago to save money. And you know what he actually said to me? He goes, how long did you live like a dirtbag to get ahead? And he actually said that to me, and like, it's kind of a rude thing to say, right? And I was like, that's what I'm trying to say, is he's in that mindset of materialism and, this false sense of status, to where he's like ashamed of his own people, right? And I basically said that to him. And then he kind of backpedaled on his dirtbag comment, and he explained that was actually a compliment. And I'm not really sure how that's a compliment, but okay. Anyway, he's an amateur. He has no money. He just had a little good job, and he wears nice clothes, and pretty much didn't want to visit his people for the better part of almost 2 decades, and now he's doing it for the first time, so good for him. Hopefully by the time he reaches 40 or 50, he'll start to mature and humble himself and realize that, you know what? We only live one life, and these are my people, and I'm proud of them, damn it. And that's just part of maturing. I like this creatine. You guys having a good time? Does this conversation make any sense, or am I talking to myself? Hit that like button, by the way. Goodness gracious. Micronized creatine. I love it. It's good for the brain. Okay. Yeah. But most of the Filipinos I knew in California were pretty cool people, man. Even there, like the nurses I knew, or the engineers, doctors, they still, stood by their family and were loyal and all that good stuff. Didn't turn their backs on their own people. They would go home to go back to their homeland to visit their people and so forth. But yeah, sometimes, in the West, once they sort of get out, they become ashamed of their roots and all that kind of stuff. And I don't know, that's just part of growing up, I think, and learning in life. I remember my first Filipino girlfriend, she kind of described it as, she took care of her family even in the U.S. and bought them a house. They all still stayed together. She said they realized that once they came over to the U.S. and all that, they realized that that's all they had was each other, in the end. And yeah, I think that's a good thing. Yeah, but this guy actually, he was trying to hide it, but it was there. Like, he had a disdain for the idea that somebody would live a minimalistic lifestyle to save money or get ahead. Um, and this is coming from somebody, like I said, he probably doesn't have any money, which is fine. I'm not judging. I'm just making a point that, appearances can be quite deceiving, right? That's for sure. But he looked good. He had like nice clothes on. He had a nice shirt. I think he had a watch too. Yeah. People don't use watches anymore unless it's some kind of status symbol. All right. Well, I'm not sure where this conversation's going, folks. If anybody is Enrique or BJ. Oh, BJ says, how much can you save without winter? How much can you save without winter? JJ says, ask him how long he's going to live as a debt slave and not get ahead. Lol. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, dude. So your medium amount of Americans in their early 40s carry significant debt, mostly tied up in their house or credit card or credit cards and so forth. And the median net worth it's okay, but they're tied in. So you can have a decent net worth, but you can also carry a lot of debt. And with the debt, it kind of limits your options, right? So you're sort of tied in, and you're married to that in a sense. And I was talking about this till I was blue in the face with regards to finances and minimalism and all this stuff for your regular working people, or even people with even upper middle class people, man, like people with like really good careers. They're still falling in the same traps, man. They say people making over $100,000 a year many of them are still living paycheck to paycheck. The savings rate for income is so low in America, it's crazy. Okay, it's like you're making under 100K, your medium amount, not average, the medium amount of people saving like 3 to 6% of their income the money directly they're earning from work. That's really low. And they say it's a little bit higher for people making over 100K. Apparently they kind of got their stuff together a little bit more, but it's still low. And it's not good. I mean, but yeah, it was just funny, like seeing that perspective of a guy who's like 30 years old, because I totally get it. Like I get it. You know what I mean? To where I'm mature enough to not be offended by his living like a dirtbag comment, even though he tried to frame it in a positive way. So I repeated that phrase about 5 or 6 times through the rest of the flight. I said, yeah, well, when you realize that you're also a dirtbag for essentially not going home to your home country for 18 years and having to disdain for your own people, what you're going to realize is that a real dirtbag is ashamed of his own people. Yeah, I kind of said that to him, and he had to take it at that point. What else are you gonna do? I don't get why. Well, okay, here's the other thing. He tried to backpedal and say like, no, I meant that as a compliment because people say like live in van life. It's a cool thing to like live like a dirtbag, as he described it. Yeah. He had a nice shirt. Okay. I was wearing my leather jacket on the plane. I was quite comfortable, I must say. But, so they say the median net worth for men under 35, for instance, like 35 and under, it's like really low. What was it? It's like really low. Maybe even like under $10,000, like it's like nothing, right? And then I think people start to realize by the time they're 35, 40s, they're like, you know what? Maybe we don't need this and that. We can make some material sacrifices and save that money. I can't think of any other reason. I mean, I had a lot of fun. I spent a lot of money in my 20s. And I don't really have any regrets. Those people that say stuff like, "Oh, I wish when I was younger I worked more and saved more money." I don't really feel that way. I really don't. I mean, you know, I spent a lot of money. I had a lot of fun. Uh, I kind of lived the way I wanted to. I worked. I wasn't like some bum, dirtbag, as this man described people who live in cars. I didn't always live in my car. That was just a short phase. I did get an RV at one point, though, which I thought was a, step up. Yeah, RV life. That was my favorite. You guys having fun out there? You enjoying this live stream or what? You guys appreciating this? I'm pouring this out for you, man. I'm giving this all to you. Whoever's watching. Okay. BJ Ken says the best revenge is success. Yeah, I guess. I mean, I'm not even sure what success means anymore. I guess having like a community and having people that appreciate you and a little bit of money and no debt, that's a good one, right? Having options, yeah, I think that's a good measure of some success. Then you get guys like Warren Buffett. What did he say? I think he said by the time you're 70, if like your kids don't hate you, that means you're successful, apparently. He said something like that. I thought that was funny. I thought, damn, that's pretty raw. That's a tough way to look at life. Oh, the American dream, the American dream. What's up with the American hostility, man? Everybody has these strong opinions, Everybody has these, I guess these strong opinions. Yeah. Maybe including myself, who knows? Yeah, anyway. Man, that life though on the road, man, is like, it's like my whole life on the road it's not bad, it's just simplified. So I'll drive and then I'll find a gym to go to or go for a walk or jog outside wherever I may be. And then Walmart, finding a Walmart every week or two to like stack up on groceries, So I've been to so many Walmarts across the US, and they're all the same, dude. You know what I mean? They're all just this. I mean, there's great products, discount price and all that, but there's just a vibe in the Walmart that's like, God, I don't know what it is. The coolest Walmart on earth, man. The best Walmart I've ever been to, and I've been to dozens of them, no exaggeration. Playa del Carmen, Mexico is the coolest effing Walmart on planet Earth, man. It's just, I don't know, it's just so much better and it's just more positive, and you can go to the beach afterwards, and it's just a different vibe in that Walmart in Playa del Carmen. I love it. I don't know why. I thought about that for some reason. I like Mexico too, man. I really do. Parts of Mexico, for sure. What about you guys? What do you guys want to talk about? Do you like Mexico? We're in the Philippines right now. I don't know if you guys can hear the roosters. Oh, God. Anyway, if you like the channel, hit that like button. Thanks for subscribing and all that good stuff. Yeah. Forgot what I was talking about. I think I had a point to all this. Oh yeah, the Filipino guy on the plane. He was in that. He's like, I'm 31 and I found a good job, and I don't like my own people anymore. What? I'm like, dude, what's up with that, man? You're gonna sit here and say I live like a dirtbag for saving money in a car. You're probably broke, and you're admitting that you don't even want to go home. This is your first time home in like 20 years almost. Oh God. Don't be self-loathing about your own people, man. What's up with that? But like I said, that's rare. I mean, I've seen some Filipinos in the U.S. like that, but most of them are still pretty cool. Like, they still appreciate their own people. They're not ashamed of their culture, right? They proudly send money back home. That's the majority of, like, OFWs. But then occasionally you get the ones that are really brainwashed or bitter or something. I don't know what happens. I've seen that with some of the Chinese, too. It's just not so much like a nationality thing. It's more... you know, when I don't know, man. Money does stuff to people, or the illusion of it, even. Yeah. RC says, he says, you've been to dozens of Walmarts. It's unbelievable. Yeah, it's not unbelievable. I mean, it's true. I've probably been to like at least 30 across the whole country, maybe 40. Um, you know, possibly in every state, not in every state, but in most states, I've been to a Walmart at some point. Yeah, it's part of my legacy is going to Walmarts. I'm very proud of it. In fact, I go into them and I say that I'm the district manager and I'm here to do, basically quality control, and I know what to look for. I'm just joking. They pretty much all look the same. They operate the same way, have the same stuff usually. It's not really the most interesting thing, but um, my point is that yes, I have spent quite a bit of time in the Walmarts with that part of American culture, and with or without money, I'll probably even shop there in the future because hey, who wants to pay premium prices, right? Go to the Walmart. Even Hulk Hogan, when he was still alive, he was shopping at Walmart. Yeah, he was a millionaire too. I'm nowhere close to that, but I mean, he was like millions and millions of dollars. And he's like, yeah, Hulkamania, shop at Walmart, brother. He was still going to Walmart. There you go. JJ says, I just wish more Walmarts still let trucks park overnight. Yeah, I think many of them do. I heard stories about some of them. Like they were putting boots on trucks, like locking up these guys' trucks. Can you imagine? God. I mean, putting like what do they call it? Like a boot on the wheel. So and you got to pay someone like $300 to take it off. That's messed up, dude. Just more driver abuse, folks. More and more. They won't stop. They just keep doing it. Anyway, that's it, man. So yeah, we're back here in the Philippines, and well, there's a whole genre of vloggers in the Philippines, folks. It's called the Philippines. Well, it's not called anything, but it's like the foreign vlogger community of the Philippines. And there's hundreds and hundreds of channels that do this. Not do this. This is totally unique. But I'm saying that expats in the Philippines talking about the Philippines, right? I didn't even know that before I started. Hey, Paula, what's up? Appreciate you. Are you in Bacolod now or what? I thought you were coming out here in like October or something, you said. BJ says, enjoy it while you're in the Philippines. Relax, lay low, recover from stressful work. I really am, man. I'm looking forward to really hitting. I'm going to hit the weights hard. Yeah, I was just on Eastern Dreamers podcast, live stream. I was just there moments ago. He's settled in his new place. Still in Sacramento. Okay. I'm keeping track. Man. I'm trying to figure out what's going on. I'm kind of sweaty right now, so I haven't turned on my aircon. Getting ready to take some more zinc. Okay. Anyway, that's about it. I had a point to make with that, though. What was my point? Oh, October 6th, you're coming to Bacolod. That's cool. Yeah, I am kind of concerned, though, about the future. What I was talking about. I'm just worried that it could lose some of its charm, and I'm worried that we're going to eventually piss off too many Filipinos if too many Americans and Europeans come here, right? Like, do you think, because the Philippines has always been known to be welcoming, especially to Americans and all that good stuff, smiles, open arms, on and on and on, all that, good stuff. But I do wonder if too many of us come and, too many of us create drama and, I don't know, just do stupid things. I'm worried that the culture will lose patience, like in the future. Even start to develop like a foreigner resentment or something, you know what I mean? I hope not. But it is possible. What do you all think about that? Do you think that will change? Do you think if like suddenly a million people just flooded here or more, I wonder if that will start changing things or changing the sentiment as far as welcoming foreigners, right? I hope not. I don't think so, but you never know. So anyway, that guy Charlie Kirk was assassinated over there in Utah. Was that in Provo or Salt Lake City? What a horrible thing, man. God, I actually watched that. They shot him in the neck. You could see it. There's like one short clip, and it's right after he says something like before or after gang violence, and boom, it's like, oh shit, horrible, horrible. Oh, hey, Alex, Eastern Dreamer is just here. We were just talking about you. Um, oh, Orem, Utah. Yeah, God. Alex, I was just debating whether, in your opinion, do you think at some point the sentiment can change as far as, because, this culture is always, we talk about the Philippine culture, welcome into foreigners, right? It welcomes Americans with open arms, very friendly, hospitable, open, welcoming, like genuinely, which is a beautiful thing. I wonder, though, I hope that that doesn't change, like, in the years and years to come, if there's, like, more and more of an influx. Like, they think millions and millions of, like, problematic Westerners come to this country. Do you think maybe that sentiment could start to maybe change? I don't know. I hope not. I hope not, but you never know, right? That is kind of one of my concerns on social media, to be honest. I mean, I still question how much effect that we have in drawing tourists here. You get some vloggers that think they're like, I don't want to say like Moses or something, but like they're leading like a nation to another nation. I mean, I make jokes like that, but I'm joking. But some guys, they're like serious, dude. They're like, yeah, we populate certain cities because of our vlogs and stuff. I'm like, wow, damn, dude. Okay, whatever. But anyway, say all that's true. What does that mean, right? I mean, because most of the Filipinos I talk to will be like, yeah, it's all good, like boost the GDP, welcome more tourists, we love foreigners, and I'm thinking to myself, yeah, you love foreigners now, but what if there's like times 5 or times 10, Will you still have that same sentiment? I don't know. Will these people assimilate properly? Will they contribute to the Philippines culture? Or will they take, use, exploit, right? That's the problem. That's the concern. Anyway, it's a legitimate concern, I think. Eastern Dreamer says, I think it may be less in expat-heavy areas, where in more provincial areas it will still be welcoming. Yeah, I would imagine so. I hope so. I mean, I thought Dumaguete was a pretty cool place. I met Alex in Dumaguete. That was the first time I was there, and I think I was telling him this, that there was I couldn't explain it, but there was something. There was definitely some kind of Western vibe there, like that was undeniable. You know what I mean? Like it was still the Philippines. It felt like the Philippines, obviously, but at the same time, there was like this hybrid thing. I just couldn't quite put my finger on it. I don't want to say cynicism, but I mean I understand how some of the Filipinos are, and like I'm wondering how they're reacting to. Excuse me, problematic people. Because I know the way we are too is like we'll just keep pushing and pushing. Whereas the psychology of like the Filipinos is they're not as aggressive and confrontational. And so they may be more passive, but that does not mean they're pushovers, right? So so what can happen is like a Westerner is going to push himself because he thinks everything's okay and he's just being his typical obnoxious, rude self, and then he finally crosses the line and then he gets himself in trouble. That's kind of what happens sometimes, right? It's like it's kind of one of the natures of like exploitation, right? Like you take advantage of something until you get such a hard slap on the wrist it forces you to stop. Uh, yeah, I guess that makes us stubborn. I'm not saying that all foreigners are promoting or doing exploitation, but it is. I say that by definition. Some guys get real sensitive when you use that word exploitation. Some vloggers, probably because they're full of shit. God, that coffee's good. God, I mean, making money on YouTube, what's up with that, too? Oh my God. Can you imagine? Like, if I really. I just think it would be less fun, because I have AI analyze my videos sometimes, and they're like, listen, you keep saying this and you say that. When you do that, you're turning off X amount of people. Okay? If you want to grow your channel, don't say that. That's what the AI basically tells me. Stop saying that. You're too polarizing. Keep it vague. Keep it general. Don't use that word. I say, really? But it's kind of fascinating, the one that's interesting is YouTube suggested videos, right? Because that's the one where it starts to, I think it kind of puts it into more the general population of viewers. It's less niched. And so I think, I don't know what that is. Anyway, sorry, I'm way off topic. I'm just making excuses for the fact that I don't have 100,000 subscribers, okay? Anyway. Oh, God. I'm having a good time. All right. Eastern Dreamer says, Lux Shampoo says, the Philippines will still be ruled by the Filipinos, so no chance it will be like America. Yeah, let's hope not, right? Alex says, opposite the U.S., where foreigners tend to be more welcomed in big cities, but less welcomed in provincial areas. Oh, yeah, that's a good way to put it. I'd like to see Davao next time, he says. A Filipino friend of mine invited me to crash out on his parents' couch and check out Davao. Yeah, you should. I got to get down there, too. BJ Ken says, AI is stupid sometimes. Yeah, well, I find that it's too politically correct and it's too yes man sometimes, right? So I have to like program it to be like, listen, don't just tell me what I want to hear, okay? Because it can kind of put you down the wrong path too. Because you can almost get AI to validate almost any argument or any crazy ass thing you say. It'll say, I don't know, it's funny. You got to sort of, you got to be careful with it, man. That's all I can say. Because it can kind of yes man you into like a problematic area or even a problematic message. Are you sure this is okay? Because sometimes I'll break it down and I'll say things to AI like, break down the way different populations of people are going to perceive this video, right? So break down how, I don't know, a middle-aged American man versus a woman might respond, how a liberal progressive might respond in that category, or how, people that are into tribalism and American politics, how are they going to respond? How are expats going to respond abroad? How are Filipinos going to respond? And I'll break it down like that. And it's fascinating, too, how it's kind of accurate in some respects. The way it's able to analyze how different populations perceive a message, right? And it's pretty cool stuff, man. It's pretty amazing. I'm just never going to get to the point where I never want to script the videos because I don't know. It's not a bad idea, Some guys have done that. But anyway, I think with that being said, I think in the future, despite AI influence and stuff, I think there's still going to be a strong need for just original material, somebody just speaking from the heart, an impassioned speech. It's not perfect. I think that stuff's going to actually be like valuable in the future, like people that can actually talk, right? People that can hold their own and all that, so yeah. Anyway, I don't know where that came from, but all right, I'm just rambling, guys. If you guys want to talk about something, or I'm going to get going soon. Romeo says, hello, sir. God bless America. Thank you, Romeo. Appreciate that so much. God bless America and the Philippines. Can we do both? Damn, I am hot, that's for sure. Yeah, but anyway, I was making that point in my last video, man. I'm not buying the narrative anymore that most of the expats or just Americans that become expats, I don't buy the narrative that they're all just a bunch of losers who couldn't make it. It's not true. It really isn't. It's just not true. I think for groups of them that could have been true in some respects, and of course we met people like that. I know Alex has, but there's still plenty that I don't think that's the main driving force. I really don't. And hopefully, my hope is that in the future, with more people likely coming to this country, that just get people traveling for other reasons, basically. So. Yeah, Eastern Dreamer says loser is an overused term. Yeah, I agree. Let's be more specific. How about that? Somebody who was not, as you might say, lived a life in a pro-social way, and they were, I don't know, just problematic, mentally ill people who were intentionally not successful at anything, and they were just basically like these entitled low-life criminals. Yeah, like those types, I guess, come into these countries. Yeah, it can be problematic, or just I do find it weird though. I got to admit something about like I don't know, like sex tourism, right? Like when you're in your 50s and 60s, like how does I don't know, man. How are you still? Is that really something that is really appealing to you? You know what I mean? Like, aren't you kind of past to the carnal, fleshly part of your life? I mean, you're saggy, you're old. I mean, I kind of feel that a little bit. Like, I don't see how that's such a big driving force for a lot of men. Sorry, I got some moisturizer in my eye, but I don't know why. I didn't really phrase that correctly. Sorry. It came out weird, but it's a weird topic. The more important conversation about the future of the U.S. economy, it's my belief that the U.S. economy isn't what it used to be. Yeah, I don't think it is either. I mean, I think it just seems to progressively get more difficult. Yeah, COVID, inflation, all that's crazy. I think the economy peaked in the year 2000, and people don't want to have difficult conversation that Asia isn't upwardly mobile. Yeah. Sometimes I enjoy the Philippines as seeing many Filipinos enjoying a growing economy. Yes. One where their lives are substantially material better than that of their parents' generations. Yeah, but yeah, absolutely. But here's the thing, is like I don't think these cultures are as materialistic as people from our culture, right? So while that's true that foreigners are going to boost the economy here or whatever, or boost the tourism economy, I think it has limits. You know what I mean? Because I just don't think like all the arguments I'm hearing is that like yeah, it's going to boost the economy, but I'm not sure that the East is as driven because just by money. You know what I mean? So I wonder if there will be a tipping point to where it's like, okay, now there's too many of you. We don't like it as much anymore. You know what I mean? Like basically, in other words, like it wasn't worth the money. Like it sounded good at first, but then we realized, oh shit, we're bringing over a lot more mental illness, even though more money's coming in. You know what I mean? It's like maybe there's going to be some of that. Who knows? I think it's more the human capital of the Philippines where you have a lot of talented, educated, hardworking young people versus the U.S. population pyramid, which is top heavy. Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. That's a good way to put it. I like that one. That's a good one. That's a good one. Top heavy versus young talented. Well, dude, I was talking about San Francisco recently, man. The days of the 1960s and, Jimi Hendrix and the hippie movement and, the hippies and counterculture and all the good music and the other stuff they were doing, whatever, whatever that was. But that was a different culture then, man. Like, San Francisco is the most elitist, snobbish fucking society, I swear, in, like, America, all right? Like, this whole thing about, like, this liberalism there, it's like a scam, dude. Like, they treat the homeless terribly, totally inhumane. A lot of people have bad attitudes. People are not friendly on the streets, and you have to have a lot of money and be in some kind of establishment in clique to really, like, do well, in the sense that, oh, I'm going to go live in the tower and look down on all the poor people type of thing. But other than that, I don't see San Francisco Bay Area as a liberal society, at least not anymore. I really don't. I think it's a fucking ruse, dude. I think you have to be rich. I think you have to be connected. And I think they absolutely disdain the lower class and the homeless there. And that's my final message on San Francisco, dude. I mean, I lived up there 17 years ago for about 5-6 years in the East Bay. I went to college in San Francisco. I hadn't been there in a long time, but dude, it's worse than it was bad then. All right, but it's worse now, and that's for sure, dude. It's a damn shame, and I'm not sure what to attribute that to. I don't like to get into all the political stuff there because people get all tribal and they can't think outside of the different bullshit, signaling and this party, that party bullshit, but it's like clearly not working. Whatever it is, not working. I don't mean to be negative, but I'm sorry, man. I gotta say, that is not a friendly city. That is not a liberal utopia. It's a fucking disaster, dude. Why am I angry? I'm getting angry. I don't want to end it on a negative note, but I thought that was funny. All right. I still like the place. I like the city. I like the Bay. I do. But it's just, I guess because I've known people that grew up there. I've known people that, even African Americans that, had a hard life. They grew up in Section 8. And I knew these guys, like some of them were smart. Like they went to college and they were talented guys. And they were totally discriminated against by, they wouldn't, these guys would not get hired at Google. I know guys that are legit programmers, like really intelligent guys that cannot get jobs, okay? Just because of their social background or whatever, where they live, like that kind of shit, And it's not just the African Americans, it's happening to all sorts of people, Caucasian people, Latinos, a lot of people. I think there's a lot of tech elitists there, dude, And I think this stuff about like diversity and inclusion, I think it's just bullshit. It's just like words on the page, right? It's just the kind of thing you have to say, like, oh, it's like a disclaimer, It's like when you say something like, for the record, like if I say something like, don't get me wrong, the majority of expats that I've met are really nice people, but some of them are just fucked up psychos. It's kind of, it's that sort of thing. All right, I'm done. I'm having a good time. Alex says, you're fortunate to be enjoying the Philippines. Yeah, thank you. I think so, too. I am fortunate. We are fortunate, man. We really are. You're fortunate, too. A lot of us are fortunate, and we can't forget it, man. Like when I was a little bit younger, I probably would have thought like, oh geez, I couldn't, if I was a truck driver, oh my God, well, what have I done with my life? But I don't really see it that way anymore. In fact, I got like more of an appreciation for what I'm able to do these days. I really do, man. I think it really is like a privilege to be like a professional driver, and if you do it right, if you save the money, you invest the money, you work hard, you can still get ahead. It's hard, but it can still happen. And that's a true story. And you can do it in a short period of time. All right. You can save substantial amount and still get ahead, okay? Doing like honest blue collar American work. It's still possible. That's my message. All right. But it's harder than it used to be. That's for sure. You're gonna have to make sacrifices, but it can still be done. So anyway, thank you, Alex. Thank you, Eastern Dreamer, Romeo. I've seen a lot of the country. That's for sure, of America, no doubt. Thank you all for showing up. Stay positive. I didn't mean to bash on San Francisco so hard. I love that place. I just have passionate feelings about that place because I lived there a long time. I've had family that lives there. I have friends that live in that area, and it's just, but life's what you make it, folks. We can sit here and criticize all day, but I mean, it's like we have to make this work. If we just sit here and point out the flaws and stuff, or point out stuff that doesn't work, I mean, what the fuck is that going to do, right? Let's be positive, man. Let's make the sacrifices. Let's adjust. We can still get ahead. All right, all of us. All right, if you have a job, you're damn lucky, dude. Like I said, I know people that are talented, effing people that cannot get work. All right, so if you can get work, God bless it, man. Save that money. Make sacrifices. Don't get involved in this bull crap about how people, where you live and your car and all this bullshit. Forget about all that, man. Just live simple, man. We're fortunate to be working, and let's make the most of it. All right, guys. I'll talk to you later. It's Captain Truckee. Thank you, Vaughn. Peace. Peace.